Alright, so we are now starting a new build-on series. This is the third one. We're going to be creating some popular brushes, and then, of course, eventually we're going to use them to make a nice picture. We're going to start off by creating a new brush library by clicking on the plus here on the left-hand side, and we're going to name it Build on 3, just to make our lives easy. We can take these brushes out and name them something else later. Put them in different groups. Let's put it right here below patterns, and let us make a smooth taper brush. Very quick and easy, spacing at 4%. And then we go down to Apple Pencil, turn the opacity off, and set the size to max. And then click Done. And there we go. As we press down, it gets bigger. As we release, it gets smaller. And it's that quick and easy to make a smooth taper brush. And we set the reset point, and we click Done. The next brush we're going to make, we're just going to duplicate this brush, go down to Apple Pencil, turn that max off, and we now have a variable width monoline brush. And we click Done, and then we correct that naming. I don't know why they didn't go. So there you are, your first two brushes. You've got a smooth taper and you got a monoline. Pretty quick and easy. As you can see, the monoline stays the same thickness no matter what. You can have it really big or you can have it really small. Now let's go ahead and clear this. And there we go, nice and clear. All right, for our third brush, we're going to create a taper watercolor brush. So I'm going to move monoline down here because we're going to take the smooth taper and duplicate it. And let's up the spacing to 20%. That way it's a little rougher. And then we'll go down to rendering and we'll use uniform blending. Let's go down to wet mix. We're going to set the dilution to maximum. And what that does is it says how much water gets added as you go. And you can see that this is getting us a nice little picture there. Put charge at 60. Attack, we're going to go to 20. And pull 50. And let's change the grade to smooth. That way it looks a little bit better. And then we'll go to the dynamics. And we want the brush to act in a nice rough fashion. So let's change the jitter to 50%. Under Apple Pencil, let's change this size to 80. That's how much it's going to change size as you press down on it. Let's go to Properties. Let's change the max size here to 800. We'll leave the rest the same. Let's go up to Shape. And we kind of need a rougher shape here. This circle just isn't going to do it. So we're going to do Edit, Import, and go to the source library. And let's see, Blotch looks like it might work good. Ooh, Blotch 1 will work even better. We're going to use Blotch 1. Don't forget to click on Done or it will not change. And you can see that we've got a nice little blotch going on there. That's good. the grain just isn't too good. Let's make it a rough source as well. We'll go to Edit, Import, and go to Source Library. And we're looking for something with a lot of variation to it. What paper could work? I'm going to use Rust 3 though. I'll click Done. And now it looks more like it is a watercolor brush with a bit of spatter to it. Let's click Done and test that out. Blue and yellow make green. That's working. You will notice that it kind of fuzzes out the color underneath it. That's the way watercolors work. So let's name this one Watercolor 1. Watercolor Taper. And we will create that reset point. And we'll click Done. Let's get ambitious and do a fourth brush. We're going to do another watercolor brush, but we're going to make it more of a gouache, wide brush type thing, no tapering. So let's copy the watercolor taper. We'll duplicate that. Change the spacing to 10 and the streamline to 20. That will make the brush smoother. Change the jitter to 15 so that it spreads out just a little bit more. There we go. And under the shape, we'll change the scatter to 78. And now we go to grain. On grain, we're going to change the scale to 50%. It's a subtle difference, but it is a difference. Let's go over to rendering. We'll keep the uniform blending. Change the wet edge to 25%. Okay. And then we go down to wet mix. We're going to turn the dilution off. We'll change the charge to 80%. And we'll lower the attack to 10%. But then we'll raise the pull to 75%. And then we'll turn off the grade. That way we're getting subtle changes in the brush. Let's go down to dynamics. And we'll give it a speed size of -30. And let's increase the size to 65% and give it an opacity of 55%. This way we can actually see behind the brush. Then we go down to Apple Pencil. We'll change the size to 50 so that the pressure won't make it quite so large. And we'll put the flow to 55. Under Properties, because this is a larger brush, let's set the preview down to 15%. It lets us see the brush a little bit easier. Maybe 18. That's good. Let's change the maximum size to max. And the max opacity, we want it to go down a little bit. Let's go to 85. Then we'll go to About This Brush and rename it. We'll call it watercolor flat. Save, done. And here's what our brush does. You can see the color underneath it, but there isn't quite so much smudging from the color above. And there we go. That's brush number 4. We now have a monoline, a smooth taper, a watercolor taper, and a watercolor flat brush. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and you have a wonderful day.